What's up, y'all? If you clicked on this video, chances are you've decided you wanted to buy a mountain bike. But it can be often daunting going into bike shops or going online to try and figure out exactly what you need for the terrain you're going to be riding. So today, in the first part of my 4-part series, I'm going to break down mountain biking in as simple of a way as I can. In a sport where there's a lot of slang and marketing terminology, it can often be difficult to really comprehend what people are talking about. So I'm going to go over basic terminology when explaining the bike, as well as explaining different types of mountain bikes. When we talk about the cockpit, we're talking about any part of the bike your body touches. So the cockpit includes your handlebars, your saddle, and your pedals. Often you'll hear people talk about adjusting your cockpit or making the cockpit fit you better. And what that usually means is finding different lengths of stem, different widths of handlebars, sizing your saddle properly, and getting the right pedals for your feet and your riding style. The second term you'll hear mostly when referring to bikes and how they ride is geometry. Well, now what do I mean when I say geometry? To put it as basically as I can, bicycles in their most simplest form are basically two triangles. You have your front triangle here and your rear triangle in the back. How the angles and length of those triangles are set up and designed greatly affects how the bike is going to ride and what it's meant for. Now, in the second part of this series, I'm going to break down geometry as specifically as I can. We talk about things when we're referring to geometry like reach, which is basically this distance, or head tube angle, which is the angle of the head tube in correlation to a flat ground. Again, I'll break down this in more detail in another video. Travel is basically how far the front and rear wheel moves. In the front, most bikes nowadays have what's called a telescopic fork. Basically what it is you have these stanchions right here that go into a lower leg, and they're dampened by air pressure that is inside these stanchions. Now, a front fork's travel, so how far it moves, can range from 60 millimeters all the way to 210 millimeters, depending on the bike that it's on and the terrain you're going to be riding. Now in the rear, when we talk about travel, we're still referring to how far the rear wheel moves, but it may not be as obvious how much travel in the rear a bike has just by looking at it. Another term to know is drivetrain. When we're talking about drivetrain, we're basically referring to this part of the bike, the part of the bike that actually drives the rear wheels. Now, most drivetrains nowadays come as one by. What that means is you have one gear in the front by a certain amount of gears in the rear. Now, more recently, we see a lot of 12-speed one-by drivetrain systems. What that basically means is you have one gear in the front and 12 gears you can choose from in the rear. Two other terms that are very important to know when talking about mountain biking is climbing and descending. Now this might be obvious, but climbing is literally pedaling the bike uphill. Descending is the opposite, going downhill on the bike. I hope this video was helpful in breaking down some of the common terminology around mountain biking. If you want to learn more, please subscribe to my channel and watch the rest of this series so that you can be better prepared to buy your next mountain bike.